they shook hands with a person who holds the office of an apostle, they'll remember that all their life, and it will be a strength and an inspiration to them, not because of me, but because of the office that I hold.
This is an occasion of great significance for members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints throughout the world. Dating from October 10th, 1880, when John Taylor was sustained to succeed Brigham Young as prophet, seer, and revelator, and president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. It is proposed that the first presidency sustain Russell Marion Nelson as prophet, seer, and revelator, and president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
This is not the Church of Emmanuel Christ of Latter-day Saints, Joseph Smith. This is the Church of Jesus Christ.
Travis Wayne Goodsell. Mormons. I just finished watching Stephen Colbert's More Than a Feeling, or monologue. Trying to multitask while talking. Theme song in the description below. And yeah, the whole world is laughing at you for the spiritual witness feelings. You just don't know it yet. You just don't know it. Yeah. Religion is more than a feeling. So, James, who's been following me for a little while now, occasionally comments, knows a guy who I guess is in a nursing home who thinks that he's a rabbi. And he's angry and disagreeable with everyone. I guess even the nurses. The cute little nurses in their cute little nurse outfits. And so the truth about a rabbi is that in order to become a rabbi, they have to be put to the test. They have certain requirements that they must know in order to qualify to be a rabbi. And so, knowing the scriptures, the Tanakh, as the full Old Testament is called by them. It's an acronym combo. But specifically the Torah. They need to know it inside and out. They can't just, well, I was born a Jew, I will die a Jew, and oh, it's my turn, I get to be a rabbi. No. They have to study the Torah. They have to know the Torah. And so they need to know biblical Hebrew to to go back to the altered, fixed translation of the original documents and know that. It's far more intensive than Mormons. Mormons got it easy. Spiritual witness feelings, huh? The rabbi must know the word. And if he can memorize it, because they often make them memorize, it is required. Because in the authoritative structure, the law comes first, Deuteronomy. The Torah is second. So when you have a question, you go to those sources first. This is a hierarchy of sources that you go to. Then you go to the rest of the Tanakh. If you still can't find your answer, you go to the Babylonian Talmud. Not too many people have credibility in the Jerusalem Talmud. And Midrash and Targums. And at the end, if nothing can be found to answer your question, you then consult a rabbi. And the rabbi, if he gives an answer, there should be some way to record it now, I guess, that other Jews and rabbis can know of it. Not sure how that works, but there is a hierarchical authority of the word. You don't just rush to a rabbi to answer all your questions when you should have gone to the Torah first. Don't go talking to the rabbi if you haven't bothered to study your scriptures. Okay? He therefore, because the rituals are contained in the law and in the Torah, he needs to know the rituals. He needs to know how to circumcise a baby, the marriage, and the bar mitzvah, as well as the holy days, the requirements for the holy days. He needs to know all about that. He is in charge of his synagogue and must be able to guide them in the scriptures as well as spiritually in their lives, and unfortunately to also be a shepherd to protect them against the wolves who think that they murdered the Christian Jesus. And so yes, a rabbi should have known that the New Testament, as defined by Christians, was actually Jewish too. And so it's important to know the real history of the Jews for a Jewish rabbi. You can't be a Jewish rabbi and stand at the pulpit of the synagogue reading in English rather than biblical Hebrew and not know a single thing about the origins of the Jews and their history through time. It's not about reading from a manual and getting a spiritual witness feeling. Right, Mormons? There is the need for works to produce the results to show and be judged that you can be a rabbi. Yes, I'm making fun of Mormons. Dear God, what's happened since I was a kid? Who did this? Oh my God. not complicated. So yes, you may not have heard. Jesus, as a boy, is there in the temple, and he's being interrogated by the Jews. That's because that's the Jewish process. Even Jews growing up have to learn things. It's no casual religion. So what are the qualifications to be the president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints? You just need to be the oldest apostle surviving, at the highest rank of president of the 12. That's it. That's exactly it. That is not what Joseph Smith said was supposed to be done. And so, yes, one would wonder, as an outsider investigating the church the way you're not supposed to, we go, wait a minute, I'm reading from your very own scriptures that this is how succession was supposed to have been after Joseph Smith. And yet, I witnessed from your website, under the general conferences, going all the way back to as far as videos were available, that the succession of your church is in complete violation of Joseph Smith's words. And even Irene confesses that this is the case with Nelson being crowned. Why would I want to join a church that's clearly not Joseph's, that claims him but doesn't follow him, that doesn't know their scriptures, that doesn't know Paleo-Hebrew or Egyptian, that doesn't know the correct rituals, that does not know your own history of the church, founded, as you claim, by Joseph Smith. Oops. So yeah, this church gets exposed. I've been trying to warn you. You call me evil when it's you who are projecting, because you didn't bother to study. You need more than a feeling. More than a feeling. Section 107, verses 91 and 92. This is the qualifications to become the president of the church that Joseph Smith founded. And again, the duty of the president of the office of the high priesthood is to preside over the whole church and to be the Jewish Christ. The man like Moses, the Jewish Christ. Yeah, I know, Christians botched it on purpose, so that Jews are now to blame for murdering Christian Christ. You're supposed to know that the scriptures written by Jews are prophecies and revelations. Thus, prophet and revelator. Behold, here is wisdom, yea, to be a seer, revelator, translator, and a prophet, having all the gifts of God which he bestows upon the head of the church. This is not a mantle that you're just given and all of a sudden you know all this stuff. You have to do the works. Don't take it out of context of all Scripture, like you do with Moroni chapter 10. Words into results, seed into fruit. You're not done until the seed produces the fruit. You are not done with the word until you see the results of it to know truth from error, lies. Same with any and all gifts. A seer is one who has visions and dreams, which are, as we are told from the Book of Mormon, Ammon talking to King Limhi, who has records and he doesn't know how to translate them. And Ammon says, I know the man like Moses, Yah, the Hebrew God, Moses, the Jewish Christ. Ishmael, not translated as Nelson put it, but correctly translated according to Paleo-Hebrew, is the name of Yah is Sun God, Emmanuel. He is supposed to have predictions of the future and the date of those predictions of the future given to him in dreams and visions, thus a seer. Before time, a prophet was called a seer. A revelator, Mormon chapter 8, verse 33. Time, date, days and hours of the future predictions. Prophet, someone who predicts the future. He does not prophesy because he merely has the title that he self-proclaims. This is an intensive gift. All of these are intensive. You've got to work for them. There is no casual Mormon in this church. Yes, a simple farmer can become the president of the church because he learned how to plant the seed and produce the fruit. And so he knows that he needs to do that with the word from scriptures to improve his life, line upon line, precept upon precept. No feelings allowed. Except when you're done, you can do your happy dance. I've got fruit, and it is good. And so, translator, the only thing not footnoted here, the only thing they don't claim the title of. And yet, if you go and become a translator, they will utterly declare war on you and seek to destroy you from the face of the earth. And then explain, well, you're not allowed to, only the president of the church. But he doesn't claim the title. He can't even do it right, even after consulting 2 BYU scholars in Hebrew. He still botches it. And then they go and try to cover it up with a video showing, no, it's actually the footnotes. Who were done by 2 Hebrew scholars at BYU. Avraham, you dumbass. And yet, if you went to it, you don't see H-E-B. You see I-Es and O-Rs, which means they rejected Avraham. So yes, it requires decipherment. Yeah, no spiritual witness feelings are going to decipher a dead language. You need to use science for all of these. This is the qualifications to be the head of the church. And all of them, after Joseph, are disqualified. Amen. Amen. So, Joseph Smith, again, reiterates this for Mormons. An exclusive Joseph Smith translation, Revelation chapter 12. verse 1, he adds, "And there appeared a great sign in heaven, in the likeness of things on the earth." And the likeness of things on the earth is the prophesied prediction of the future. The sign in the heavens, astronomy, is the day and the hour, date, time of the future predictions. And so the Jewish author of the book of Revelation, for chapter 12, a different author for the first part, Christians combined them together as if they were one. I guess that's how they were able to justify accepting it. Because otherwise, this would have been nowhere near their Bible. And so we are told, a woman clothed with the sun. So this can't be literal. This can't be literal history of Jesus' birth. And the moon under her feet. This is a sign in heaven, called a conjunction by astronomers. Science. Not astrology, not astrotheology crap. Science. And upon her head, a crown of 12 stars. Now, every astronomer knows that Leo on Virgo's head is only designated with 9 stars. And so 3 planets are there in Leo to make 12. So the gospel stories about 12 disciples or apostles, yeah, it's not literal history. It's referring to this date of the start of the ministry of the Jewish Christ. That's what this is. The birth of the ministry, the start of the ministry of the Jewish Christ in a future time predicted by the Jewish author. And he got this from Isaiah. And Isaiah got it from the Egyptians. And then Matthew put it in. Christians botched it. And it's also in the beginning of the Book of Mormon. Joseph Smith moves verse 5 to verse 3. So that verse 3 is a part of this sign on this particular precise date. I didn't find out until after Monson died. Oh, how humiliatingly embarrassing. And so notice in verse 7, Joseph Smith adds an interpretation of the signs in the heavens so that you would understand the likeness of things on the earth of the future prediction. The woman is Joseph Smith's church. Not the Jewish church, not Christians, not Islamists. The church that Joseph Smith founded. Is there any confusion on this? Joseph Smith added it, which is exclusive for Mormons. This is exclusive Mormon words. This is not Christian. Christians don't believe it's the Mormon church. Neither do the Jews, neither do the Islamists. Joseph Smith says, the Bible stories written by Jews are prophecies giving you a day and time of the future predictions of Joseph's church. Guess what that means about the Book of Mormon when Joseph in the introduction says, "It is written in the spirit of prophecy and revelation," not literal history. And so, who is the man-child? Jupiter retrogrades in the womb for a period of a pregnancy, then moves on to the next one. He's our Christ. Virgo is the church. Jupiter is the Christ of Mormons. And he is born from the church of Joseph Smith. This is the date of the start of his ministry. To who? Mormons. You can now use this to interpret all of the words of the Jews. And in case you're confused, Joseph Smith again repeats it for you with the interpretation key. Section 103, Brigham Young finally published in 1844. Because he was trying to claim it's him. Verses 15 to 18. Behold, I say unto you, the redemption of Zion in the latter days must needs come by power. Therefore I will raise up. Hey, that's plagiarism of the Jewish Christ from the Jewish law by the Jewish author in Deuteronomy 18, verse 15. That Joseph Smith says is our Christ in the second vision, verse 40, referring to the passage in Acts, plagiarizing it, precisely as it stands in our New Testament. Unto my people. Any confusion yet, Mormons? This is you. Joseph Smith, exclusive scripture for Mormons, saying there will be a baby raised up unto Mormons. The church is the woman. The baby is the Christ. How do we know this? A man who shall lead Mormons like as Moses, the Jewish Christ. Who led the children of Israel from that Exodus story. But it's not literal history. For behold, for ye Mormons are the children of Israel. Oh, you can now decode everything. You now know the Jewish Christ, you know the religion, that it's you. And you need to be led out of bondage. Oh, you know the great and abominable church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Or are you going to try to tell me that Joseph Smith is a false prophet? Mormons denounce Joseph Smith as a false prophet. He's wrong. His prophecy did not occur. The church is true as false. This is the boo-boo of claiming Joseph as your founder. Because people can come in and read for themselves and go, this is nothing about what is read. What kind of church is this? What are you teaching this people? What kind of an abomination that's all wrong, abominable, and corrupt is this? Verse 19 of the first vision. Thus the need for Mormons to be rescued from the great and abominable church of Jesus, the enemy of the Jews. Very simple stuff. Very, very simple. And so doing this video, I guess I'm fulfilling the signs in the heavens today as it just occurred to me, but I don't qualify it as such. I want something bigger. I want the fall of the great and abominable church. So yeah, a sign in the heavens today. The sun has caught up to Jupiter and has eclipsed it. Jupiter, the Christ of Mormons, who is a Mormon, born in the great and abominable church to save Mormons from it, is now Emmanuel, the sun god at noonday. So tomorrow, the moon will be new. Moon is right there. So the new moon, the sun, Jupiter, all together. There at the Syracuse island of Sicily. Of the foot of Italy. In Gemini. Hilarious. And only a few people have seen that video that was just not too long ago. Whatever, Travis. Whatever. And so some important things to watch for. You got Mars in Leo, all by his lonesome. That is Nelson. If you've been following me from the beginning, because I knew this of Joseph Smith, that the signs in the heavens represent people on earth. And so the key people, Nelson, takes over the church. Sure enough, Monson died. Revelation chapter 12, verse 3. Actually, verse 4. Verse 3 was the fifth dark day of Hanukkah on the 17th of December 2017. And then, and so when Monson died that evening, Mars was at the top of the scales of judgment as the judge, the Danite leader. Judge, Danite, judges, Danites, Hebrew. So Venus is represented as the inverted pentagram of Lucifer. That Mars and her, in the Greek prophecies and revelations of the latter days, had a baby named Lucifer. And so Venus is the bride and thus the church of Mars, the father of Lucifer. So the church of Lucifer, thus the husband of the church of Lucifer is Lucifer also. Father Lucifer and son Lucifer. And so that's obvious as to why on the great and abominable church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, on the temple keystone of the doors of the Salt Lake headquarters temple, is that symbol. For that reason. And don't be stupid and say Joseph put it there. You don't know church history and the chronology of events. Joseph is dead. And so thus, Virgo is Joseph's church, but Venus is the church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And the church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is being sacrificed in the Ram-Lamb constellation of Aries, just like Abraham sacrificing Isaac in Utah, top of the mountain. a messenger of the gods appears with his trump. Yeah, Trump is Mercury. I've been doing this all this time. You're not following me, are you? Where were those 40,000 from my July 2017 video? And then a ram appears. Solar eclipse. And the guy who's been with me the longest sent me a picture of it this morning. And wouldn't you know it, the Aretids are still going on, even though they're no longer at their peak. They're at the rump roast of Aries. And so Venus is there in conjunction with the falling stars. The falling star with the falling stars at the rump roast of the sacrificial ram lamb. So Saturn is all there by himself on the back of the white horse. Waging war, nobody around. Saturn is the father of Jupiter, and thus God sitting on his throne. So you have two falling stars at the tail of Serpens, but you now have the June Bootids at the tail of Draco the Dragon when Monson died. Revelation chapter 12, verse 4. A third part of the stars were cast to the earth from the tail of the dragon. Quadranted meteor showers. And so you still have 3 stars at the tail of the dragon. Not happy with this? If you saw the previous video weeks ago. I need fruit. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's bigly and beautiful. But Trump keeps pushing it further away from me. Come on, Trump. You know, he escaped death and is now heading for crabs. So, that's what we got, and that's why I did it. Being a leader of Mormons is more than just having titles. More than just having titles. Oakes was wrong.